Hello, it's Wayne here from Whiskey Alpha, and today I'm in the garden doing a slightly unusual video because this is something that's I've been thinking about for a while, and a couple of events today have sort of brought things to a head. Today I went to a private flyer show at Booker Airfield, also known as High Wycombe, and I had a great time. I actually went there planning to film the show and do a little video about private flyer. I actually did one for last year, so the video is going to appear somewhere, and wore my Whiskey Alpha t-shirt. Got out of the car, started walking across the car park, and bumped into someone who saw my channel and got chatting throughout the show. Met a couple of other people who I knew through doing YouTube videos, and a few things sort of occurred to me. Firstly, I think it's a case of I was beginning to become a YouTuber and beginning not to be myself. Now, that's possibly something that's quite hard to explain, but I was beginning to look at YouTube and look at my YouTube channel and the videos as some target to generate views, generate subscribers. It doesn't feel right for me. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm a pilot who happens to film some of my flights and sometimes film my rants to camera. Not rants, just talking to camera. The idea is hopefully people will watch these and they'll gain some insight into their own flying, some ideas. Sometimes it's a case of the experiences I'm having match other people's experiences, so you're not in that situation where you feel that you're all alone. We all, as new student pilots and as new pilots, we all have similar experiences, even if you actually think nobody can be possibly feeling the same things I do. It was actually at this show and talking to people I suddenly realised that I don't need to go to a private flyer show and film the show. I'm not a flying reporter, I'm not Flyer Magazine. I'm a pilot who happens to record some of their activities for YouTube. That leads me on to the second part, which is I'm a pilot, and sometimes I forget it. I think I suffer from something called imposter syndrome. Now, imposter syndrome basically is a feeling that you are, I wouldn't say worthy, but you shouldn't be where you are. So the fact that I have a license to fly an aircraft, I'm capable of being PIC, sometimes I have my doubts, and sometimes it's an element of I'm flying, but I'm relying too much on the person next to me, whether they're another pilot, whether they're an instructor. It's almost a case of I feel that I shouldn't be a pilot when people who know far more about flying, far more about instruction, have actually said, no, you are capable of doing this, therefore you have a pilot's license. There is probably a dictionary definition of imposter syndrome, but for me, I think the first thing is self-doubt, doubting whether I can do things. I think the second thing is being overcautious, which is linked to the third thing for me, which is almost finding excuses not to fly. Now, being overcautious, there is a fine line. If you look at the weather and you feel doubtful as to whether you should fly, then the normal adage is, if there's doubt, there is no doubt, you don't go flying. The problem is, for me, I think sometimes I've taken that a little bit too far, and I've taken it to the extent where I've just turned around and go, no, I don't feel up to fly. Realistically, there's actually no reason. It's not weather. It's not feeling under the weather or just feeling not with it. It's pure and simply possibly feeling that I'm not pushing myself, but not pushing myself in a dangerous way, just not pushing myself to go flying. Flying is an activity that is difficult to do. It's perishable, so you need to keep doing it. You start to lose, your skills start to fade quite quickly. I know certainly mine do. Now, I've been lucky in so much that I think the longest period I've gone without flying is about 3 weeks. I've just come back from a flight to Friedrichshafen in Germany, where I had several other people flying, and there's now an aeroplane flying above me. Don't know where it is. We live about 3 miles away from Elstree, so we get some of Elstree's traffic, particularly when the wind is going in certain ways, and particularly on the Southern Circuit. But I'm not going to sit here and complain, because at the end of the day, I enjoy flying. And I think that's sometimes something I forget. I am actually supposed to enjoy flying. When I fly with other people, I do have a habit, and it's a habit at the moment, that I might try and avoid some of the more difficult stuff that I'm not 100% happy with, or at least I can do it, but I try and sort of come up with excuses why somebody else should help. Radio work being one of them, flying into areas which I haven't been to before, which are completely new to me. My habit is to try and fly there with someone who's got experience, so at least it's familiar to me when I go there on my own or go there with somebody else. Is it a case of I'm being overcautious? I'll leave that up to other people to discuss, and if you do have any comments about that, please consider leaving them in the comments below. That's what YouTube does. Is it a good idea for me to keep flying? I hope so. I think so. I don't think I'm unsafe. I don't think I'm about to go to the opposite side and come up with reasons why I can fly in. Oh look, there's CBs all over the place and nil visibility. I can still do that. I'm not going the overconfidence route. I always have an adage in my life, which is, if you have a problem, the first stage in solving any problem is admitting there is a problem. Do I think imposter syndrome for me is a problem? No, but I think it exists from time to time. It does seem to go down a little bit when I fly more, which actually is probably quite a good thing. When I do fly with other people, find that the flying parts I don't have massive issues with. Landing, taking off, the process of flying an aircraft, I just seem to do that. I'm happy, I'm comfortable. I do need to do more work on radio work. I need to do more work on flight management, i.e. dealing with airspace. Unfortunately, Elstree is in a place where we have lots of airspace to deal with. We've got 2,500 feet ceiling. It's one of those, almost, it's been drummed into me as a student. Do not encroach, do not infringe, thou shalt not infringe. And sometimes you're sort of sitting there going, oh, what happens where I do that? I think for me, the first stage is sitting here saying, yeah, I think I have a little bit of a problem with imposter syndrome. I have done the classic thing, I've spoken to other people about it. It does seem to be not uncommon, which is one of the reasons why I'm sitting here talking to a camera. And most people say, yeah, just take it in small steps. Don't suddenly go, yeah, today I'm going to fly to Andorra. Sorry, Dave. But at least go flying and do short little bursts, fly to somewhere you know, and then fly a little bit further to somewhere you don't know. But it's not too overtly complex. Personally, I do find that the more I fly, the more comfortable I am, the more confident I feel. Again, not a case of overconfidence, but just more comfortable with the situation. And things like my situation awareness improves. I feel more at one with the aircraft, and I certainly feel that if I'm flying more, my landings improve. It just seems to all slot together. So why am I sitting here talking to camera? I think it's more like a video diary. It's given me the opportunity to say something I've been thinking about for months. People will be out there looking this and going, yeah, we've been in that situation. I'm going to carry on flying. I've got some quite nice trips booked. I've got some nice trips booked without instructors, so that could be quite interesting. Let's see how it goes. But anyway, I thought I'd just sit here and nice day, sun's going down, and chat to a camera in the garden. So hopefully you like what I'm doing. If you do, please, despite what I've just said, please consider subscribing. I do get a buzz from seeing those little tick ups. And whatever you do, please fly safe and have fun. Thanks for watching. Bye.